There we go. Microphone's on. Greetings, everyone. Please give me a moment. Make sure everything's set on up. Okay, that's all booting on up. You turn live chat windows and my macros. And that's all good to go. Is this Windows? Nope. That window, there it goes, maximize. Sorry, some other reason I just looked at the button a bit closely and just looked off. Either way, I think everything... Oh, need to turn on my macros. There we go, I think everything's good. Looks like everything's good to go. So, let's go get started. Greetings everyone, and Great here of another Advanced Wars by Web replay. As well on the south side, bottom left side, as the... What's this, Azure Asteroid? Yep, Azure Asteroid Jake. We got Matagi. Blah, butchered that name well enough. On top right side as the Amber Blossom Adder, we got Gaduma? I have no idea how to pronounce anything there. My mind's a little bit melted. This map appears to be a 3 base map. Looks like player 1 starts off with 4 infantry rather than 2 infantry and a lot less bases. Well, bottom left player 2 does start off all the bases, most of them, and only 2 infantry units, looks like it says. Yep, 1 in each HQ. There are 2 HQs per side, but it should be capture 1 victor, I believe. Comm towers in 4 corners of Earth. Take that, globetards. And so, let's go get started. Quadruple capture there. Infantry. So then, it seems like this is a 4 base map. 1 airport per player. So yeah, it looks like 1, 2, 3. So it's like an X sort of style there. Airports in the back behind their HQs. Of course, you will need to pull out a black boat or lander to secure it. And there's also another pair of seaports here, which can do the same, as well as to pull out some heavy ships. A lot of shores in the center, so wheeled vehicles can blitz away around in the center. Now, a closer look at this base here, surrounded by rivers, so this is only meant for infantry and mechs, or it cannot deploy out anything. I suppose it can always deploy a rocket for shelling everything nearby. We do have an artillery unit, or tank heading up north, artillery unit out of range. And as well, Jake's artillery can get +1 range with his power and superpower. Adder's going for heavy number artillery, which he's more of a mobile unit, so he's more favors direct units. Tank does strike the artillery. Another tank on the bottom left, and infantry. Adder goes for a tank. Right now it's 20,000 income versus 18,000 income. Hits that tank quite a bit. Interrupts the capture, does not fully stop it. Artillery can shell one of those units in, the maybe drone capture can continue finalizing the capture. Shells that one there, it takes out the 2 health one, takes a strike there. Oh, it took 0 damage in return. Sorry, I just felt a little bit weird there. Does take out that tank there, takes a shot against the artillery, did not rotate around the backside and shoot it. Adder now has his power available. In other words, water is wet. You now have a black boat here, ready to be loaded on up. Going for the airport also gives access to comm towers. Medium tank here. Looks like medium tank, infantry, and infantry. Sorry, all the bases split apart. It's hard for me to keep track of the build order is. Or what even gets built. Artillery here in a position that can engage this city there, and not to mention +1 radius around it. So maybe artillery is a bit more usable shooting across the blue sea than I expected. Artillery, infantry, and tank up north. Tank does strike tank from the city. Power now popped. Medium tank blitzes hit a 6 health infantry there, takes out a 9 health infantry, takes out or hits a 7 health infantry, interrupts the capture, softens up, takes out the capturing squad there. Tank does strike the artillery. Black boat. Looks like I got another tank, infantry, tank, black boat, and infantry. Shells the infantry unit a couple times. Jake has his power, which is only pretty much useful for his artillery pieces. I don't put much stock into the additional firepower from planes, because plus 10% additional firepower planes is not too fantastic. His power at least give him +2 movement range on his ground direct units. Or is it all ground units? And it says vehicle, so affects indirects as well. Got a mech deployed in the field. Tank, tank, and tank. Interrupts the capture. Tank does strike the tank. This, oh, rocket on top of the base there. So it's also immune to most direct attacks because it's simply unable to reach it. And though there are quite a number of blind spots within the minimum range, the rocket will provide excellent coverage. I have no idea what to make of it. Tank does strike the tank. Another power. Medium tank blitzes up north, hits the regular tank there, in range of artillery piece. Superpower available for Jake. Let's take out the artillery piece up north. There's a number of good hits up north. Does not take out the mech. Medium tank, infantry, and infantry. Two powers available for Jake. Will he go for it? Pops a block rock. And now able to shell this tank way up north in that forest. Or the son of tank there. Shells that tank there. Machine guns it down. Mech is a good strike there. Tank hits tank. Infantry unit hits tank. Tank gets exploded in the field. Does take out the son of tank with the rocket. Tank does strike tank. Tank does strike tank. Tank does strike tank. Battlecopter, infantry. Another nothing course there, and tank. Golden captures, takes out 4 infantry. I'm pretty sure if 1 HQ goes down, the players lose. Actually, I don't know what happens if one player captures 1 out of 2 HQs. Because we'll assume if it's labs is capture all. I'm assuming HQs is capture 1 to be a distinguishing factor. But that could be simply wrong. Medium tank, artillery, and infantry. Shells infantry unit. Strike the mech on the open road. Tank does interrupt the capture. Fully stops the capture there. I the HQ thought so, just to separate it from 2 labs. I actually don't think I ever saw... HQ captures are already rare enough in the game, let alone having a map of 2 HQs. We do have a Neo tank deployed in the field. So this weak side here is somewhat exposed. So it's not really a weak side though, because it's not really a strong side here. You surround the center ones. Oh, I just realized it's not a 2 HQ map, it's a 3 HQ map. There's a lot of HQs here. Medium tank, infantry. Let's take out the 1 health infantry unit. Maybe the only thing that in range that rocket. Neo tank does not strike medium tank out of range. And the thing is, well, if this medium tank decides to charge forward, hit the Neo tank, a power could be popped and the rocket could shell that same medium tank. Maybe one of the only times where a power from Jake would be useful. This is loaded up with an infantry unit there, heading out to this column tower. Another power by Adder. Takes out a tank there. Rocket could be shelled by 2 different artillery pieces. However, we got a battlecopter and artillery for fire support. Both of those artillery pieces are on top of planes, and he does have additional 10% defense. Both flyers do have 1 counter. Does got the 4 health artillery piece there. So probably needs to shell. Actually, this is not in range of the rocket there, so shell this one. Ah, stands for goat. Got it. Well, is it goats like from a Bar Metz plant? That does hit a 7 health infantry unit. Let's see the unit there. We do have a city here that's despicably neutral. 25,000 versus 25,000 income, so there's probably one of those cities in the map that's still despicably neutral somewhere. Yep, I'm having trouble finding it. Maybe got captured there, so now one player's on odd, one player's on even. Tank does strike tank. I know. I just love how there's some weird mythology where it's like goats grow on plants. The rocket did get showed by the tank there. Battlecopter can finish off. Got this Neo tank, which can strike the medium tank, which could be struck by the Neo tank in return. Black boat transferring another infantry unit to this column tower, which does take a shot there. That is on a platform, so extra defense. Medium, regular tank also puts a shot there. Rock now deployed in the field. Of course, gives the rocket +1 range. Of course, sometimes you really wish he had +1 minimum range. He's got the 4 health tank there. Maybe been good to hit the artillery pieces so the medium tank can strike something else. Neo tank one-shots the medium tank thanks to the boosted plane shot damage for +40% with the power and super power activated. Additional +10% there. That was finish off the medium tank there. Shells the mech with the extra range. Does hit the tank there. Battlecopter, infantry, tank, and infantry. Yeah, there's some weird mythology out there, like goats growing from plants. I don't know how that came about. Power activated from side slip. Anti-air taking out the battlecopter. Medium tank does strike regular tank there. Does finish off the tank there. Does not take a shot against this regular tank there. I thought he would. Probably want to clear the path. The Neo tank hit the Neo tank. Neo tank gets hit by a medium tank, but that, ooh, that counterattack was quite devastating. Infantry units, guns shooting up the rocket. Does lose that anti-air. Tank does strike the tank. Income still pretty even. So this city's still despicably neutral. Does interrupt the capture. Battlecopter strikes the infantry unit there. Infantry hits infantry unit there. Believe it or not, the battlecopter did take a point of damage, so maybe been better to use the infantry unit first. Takes out the 1 health medium tank, takes out that tank there. Try and flip a city, try and capture that neutral city, waving the French flag. Infantry, Neo tank. Regular tank does strike regular tank there, and interrupts the capture. Keep Jordan capture the 4 health infantry unit. Once again, shoots up the rocket a little bit. No river tower here. Interrupts this capture quite severely. Another power is available for Adder. Moves maximum range to hit that infantry unit there. Hits that infantry unit there. At this point in time, you can probably ignore the 1 health infantry. Let's get a good shot there. Finish off the 1 health infantry. Yeah, I don't think 1 health infantry can do any points of damage against the rocket. So, and the chip damage would be repaired up to full. Anti-air. Infantry and anti-air. We do now have a bomber on the field, of course. Get some more of those units there. It does finish off the infantry unit on top of the city. Probably large to think that he has 2 comm towers. Next turn, Jake will have his 2nd comm tower. Another Neo tank. Infantry, Neo tank. Oops. He forgot the capture. Oh, forgot the capture. He couldn't finish off the Neo tank if he had the comm tower. And there we go. Well, at least it's not fighting against facing off Andy, which that Neo could just be healed up. Got another tank, infantry, and anti-air. He did it in the turn of 132,000 versus 110, so he has a slight advantage. Power activated by Adder. Pulls back the 1 health Neo tank. Bomber nukes the 8 health tank. Hits the anti-air. We do now have a block rock available. In theory, if my offhand math is incorrect, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is max range. So if the infantry unit gets removed, then the anti-air can strike the bomber for booster strike. We do now have a pipe runner to put on the field. Maybe he's going to try to hit aircraft as well. Pipe runner's more expensive. Another infantry unit there. Block rock now available. Of course, the rock cannot strike the pipe runner. It does not have enough range. Strikes the infantry unit twice. Now the anti-air can strike the bomber and probably one-shot it. Does one-shot it. Does use the rock to strike this medium tank. And now the Neo tank will finish it off as well. Pipe runner does take a hit there. I'm pretty sure its defense is better than a rocket or than a missile. Of course, it has... Wait. Oh, the pipe runner has 1 minimum range? Or 2 minimum range, not 3? You know, I forgot about that. Let's be fair. Pipe runners are even rare in dual strike. Which makes the coverage actually better, so there is actually more reason to go for the pipe runner. Not only can shoot aircraft, but also has better coverage than the minimum range, where it can strike basically all the usable tiles, while the rocket cannot strike the some of these areas. So there is a reason to go for a pipe runner. Excuse me, my drink went down the wrong pipe. another artillery piece. Another artillery piece. 2 artilleries and a nothing. A battlecopter. Neo tank does strike Neo tank. Does finish off. Neo tank strikes infantry unit. Shooting at some of those units. 6 up 3 infantry now. Does the tank there. I wonder if the battlecopter is going to strike the pipe runner. Meteor does strike the tank there. City's still waving the French flag. It's the pipe runner once again. Oh, and that black boat sinks to the bottom of the shore. This black boat's down to 19 fuel. We do not have full side winder available for adder. It's generally better to go for multiple side slips, but sometimes you just need 1 extra range. Double artillery in the anti-air does hit that tank there. Rocket, tank, and tank. Instead of 138 versus 198, 25 to 26,000 income. Rocket infantry forward. Black boat has 17 fuel, which might not be enough fuel to get over here, so we will probably need to get out APC to get that repaired or refueled. My alternate map suggests that's farther than 17 tiles away. Infantry, tank, battlecopter, and APC. He does go ahead and wait the pipe runner, you monster. A lot of units being weighted. Resupplies a black boat, which resupplies a tank. He can creep forward and engage the pipe runner. With his power or superpower, he will have 1 extra range in the pipe runner to shell it. So the rocket is probably going to be used to creep forward and hit that pipe runner. Bomber, infantry, commits a base skip and infantry. And Adder does go ahead and resign this Angrade, saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. Greetings everyone, Angrade here with another Advanced Wars Days of Ruin, not Days of Ruin, Advanced Wars by Web replay. Still on bottom left side is the Black Hole Von Bolt. We got A7. Still on top right side is the Purple Lightning Olaf. We got Low Elo Nobody. This map is a 3-base map. 1 airport, 2 comm towers in the center. They're contestable, but generally pretty secure by 1 player. A number of pipe seams or pipes and pipe seams here, so a pipe runner can be deployed on this end bit there. Tank double infantry. We got recon now pulling a field, trying to reconnoiter the area. So I went down my other pipe, and now my throat is constantly scratching. Got another tank up north, this tank's sitting down south for the winter. Another recon, tank and infantry. Tank double infantry. Tank, and infantry. 14,000 for 12,000 income. Olaf does have 14,000 in the bank, so you can go for tank artillery infantry. Goes for battlecopter. And triple infantry. Forest hopping. Tank double infantry. Olaf now has 18,000 funds, so probably double tank infantry this turn. Infantry, tank, and battlecopter. Recon, anti-air, and tank. Tank does spot the recon, does not take a shot against the recon, hits the capturing infantry squad. One tank can retaliate, which will not be a good idea. With our cast version, we know about the 2 tanks and the battlecopter in reserve. Of course, Olaf does, or Vombo does not see all that. The battlecopter's actually out of vision range. Can't say that's where this turn ended, or that's was going to place in there, avoid to be spotted. Does he got that infantry unit there? Both players have captured the comm tower. Tank does strike against the tank. No anti-airs over here. Do have an anti-air deployed in the field now. Tank, anti-air, and recon. So probably better go for anti-air on this side soon, so you can have battlecopter or anti-air on both sides. Tank, and recon. Hits that infantry unit there, pulls back the wounded one, hits that infantry unit there, interrupts that capture. Number captures. Tank does strike the tank does strike the tank. Puts there on that infantry unit there. I just noticed something. My Twitch follower count increased, but I didn't see any notification that popped up. I'm having trouble with Twitch where it doesn't actually pop up a notification. Plus, I didn't hear my global notification either, so I always feel like Twitch's notification system's just not been working right. Battlecopter hits tank hits tank. Part of me thinks that maybe somebody unsubscribed and resubscribed later on. Why it doesn't pop up notifications? Oh well. Triple tank. Does hit that infantry unit a couple times. Tank hits tank. Does hit that infantry unit a couple times. Hits that 500 infantry unit there. Interrupts the capture. He is lacking anti-air up to in the region engage that battlecopter, though this one is somewhat close by. When I say somewhat, I mean after his turn. Tank, and anti-air. Anti-air in range the battlecopter. Got a fall off tank to deal with everything else. Goes to the recon up north and will shoot up the anti-air. Double recon, artillery, and battlecopter. Olaf's pretty close to his superpower. 60,000 versus 54. Interrupts the capture up north. Of course, the global superpower, putting units, ending their units on top of cities will, of course, get them repaired up, but will cost quite a bit of funds. Goes for another Neo tank through, going through the window of a second Neo tank that's going to get repaired up. Vombo's going to have no repairs next turn. Tank does hit the tank. Takes the infantry unit there. Another triple tanks. Vombold has 12,000 funds in the bank right now. 26,000 income right now from Vombold versus 22. Some properties still despicably neutral. Battlecopter, triple infantry. Battlecopter, triple infantry. Does get some good shots there. Tank does hit the tank, so Ex Machina is now available, which will likely strike a Neo tank. Does take out Anti-Air there. Let's see, Ex Machina will likely strike this here. Oh, wait, I'm looking at the wrong players. Ugh, my mind's melted right now. So the Ex Machina struck right here, which nailed his own recon. I got the colors mixed up of who is who. So, bit of a shame there, his own recon there, but at least he will be using next turn. But that Ex Machina could have been far worse. 125,000 ending versus 99. Does pick off some of those units there. Anti-Air will strike the, or Tank will strike the Anti-Air. Neo Tank, double infantry, and battlecopter. Does get a good number of picks there, finishing off all those wounded units there, trapped by the Ex Machina. Tank, Anti-Air, and infantry. Battlecopter may take a strike against the Neo Tank, trying to soften up a little bit. Battlecopter strikes in northern Neo Tank. Winter Fury now activated once again, calling Vombold from 123 down to 94. Another Neo Tank by not Vombold, Olaf. Another pair of infantry. It's Battlecopter. Battlecopter couldn't ruffle its way too far forward. Snow slows down its movement by half. Strikes a tank twice there. However, the Neo Tank's now in range of the artillery piece. And does lose a coin flip there with that one health infantry. Does not take out the Anti-Air there. Battlecopter does strike Battlecopter. Neo Tank getting down south will need some more support. Neo Tank down to 3 health. Does hit that recon thrice. Does hit that recon. Does he just going to... nope, he does take out that 1 health Battlecopter there. I was going to say he's just going to ignore it because it's probably close to death. Infantry, artillery. some of those units along the left. Got a good number of battle copters there. Anti-Air's a bit far away. Ex Machina is getting pretty close. If this Neo-Tank strikes this Neo-Tank, you may be able to pull it out. Which will very much likely strike right here. And no, we'll strike this infantry unit directly because it's 9 health battlecopters worth than 4 health artillery. Picks off those outlying units there. Infantry, tank, and anti-air. Shells 8 health infantry. Neo-Tank has taken some hits. Ex Machina, strong likelihood, will be deployed out next turn. That was the 3 health infantry unit there, very close to the Ex Machina. There is a bomber there, so Ex Machina will likely strike directly right here. Don't think there's enough value around this Neo-Tank to strike one of these. It will definitely strike direct on top of the battlecopter. Ex Machina launch, nothing visible. Which means 2 bases and the airport will be locked down next turn. Yep, did strike that area directly. We now have a Winter Fury available. Vulnerable right now is 140,000 value in the field. Now make that 106. Let's hit the artillery piece. Another Neo-Tank. Nothing else. Does strike the regular tank there. Does spot the Neo-Tank there, the 1 health Neo-Tank. Does strike the pipe seam a little bit there. Triple infantry. Giving 16,000 in the bank. Recon does hit the infantry unit there. Comm tower trying to be flipped. Neo-Tank does strike the Neo-Tank. Bomber does destroy the pipe seam there. Got another Neo-Tank. Gonna capture these properties which are still despicably neutral. Same for this one here. 2 capture blocks remain, so this one will be captured next turn. Artillery does hit that Neo-Tank there. Does get trapped on a recon. Does hit that tank there. Both of those things down to 1 health. There's an infantry unit twice. It hits a good number of these outlying forces there. 8 health Neo-Tank force has a good number of targets in front of it. The 4 health Neo-Tank, not so much. Bomber heading down south. Does shell the regular tank there. Neo-Tank hits the regular tank there. Neo-Tank hits regular tank there, so now both Neo-Tanks are reviewed at the moment. Another pair of 8 years in tank. Does take out that Neo tank, getting pretty good shot there. Recon, tank, and infantry. Does take out the anti-air up north. Right now, Vombo does not have any aircraft in the field. Does have 2 anti-airs, so Olaf still has 1 battlecopter, 1 bomber. Though it looks like this battlecopter will be shot down this turn. Does strike the anti-air, does get the Winter Fury thanks to that. Vombo goes from 165 health down to 127, so Vombo is now behind. Bomber does get the recon. Soon to be a 9 health anti-air can strike that bomber. Though right now also Vombo's pretty close to his own superpower, which can lock down the Neo tank and bomber there. In fact, probably striking directly right there is probably going to be the most valuable spot. Recon, tank, battlecopter, and anti-air. Does hit the bomber there. Will now the Ex Machina strike somewhere else since that bomb is wounded? I don't believe so. I think right here is still the best target. Piers actually struck this tank directly. Does hit a tank there. Does shell the Neo tank. Infantry, and tank. Does hit the anti-air, trying to save this bomber. And it looks like Olaf does go ahead and resign there. Maybe a little bit too early. It's hard to say, honestly. This is great saying thank you for watching, and on to next replay. Before I get started on the next replay, I do need to use the restroom. Please give me a moment. Apologies, I'm back. We're fine. Right now getting hit by my afternoon drowsiness, so apologies for water. Or at least some sort of form of fluid, not water. Carbonated water. Flavored carbonated water. Okay. Diet soda. Let's see now. Let's do this one. Greetings everyone, and Great here of another advance for Days Ruin. Not Days Ruin. By web replay. Spawn on the north side as a Cobalt Ice Jess. We got Advanced Noob. Spawn on the south side as the, what was this, Amber Blossom? Yep, Amber Blossom Adder. We got Hudge. So let's go and get started. This is a 3-base map. Airport on the corners. So we have a seaports as well. Prime meant for transports. Also, there are seaports here as well as here. So we could see some weird black boat play to drop off some infantry over here, try to sneak on forward. So it can easily get spotted. Also, both players do start with black boats here, and one of cruisers on top of the HQs. Tank on the field. And there was a base skip there. Interesting. So looks like Adder's going to rush out this tank to do some work. Of course, there is quite a bit of force he has to travel through. Maybe better go this way. Hard to say, honestly. He probably has a plan. If you commit a base skip, you probably do have some sort of form plan. Jess does go for a tank here. Double infantry. Does capture up the seaport there. Might be good. No, too early to go for black boat. That's 7,500 and he has 8,000 funds to bank, so it'd be black boat triple base skip. That would not be a good idea. Plus there's already a black boat here, so never mind. Infantry unit does find the infantry unit there. Infantry, and tank. Interrupts the capture. Pulling back the force wood could stall this out. If the recon wants to take a shot to stop the capture, he will be struck by a tank. Tank, and infantry. Boosted it up there, or down there. Does take out the infantry in there, which means he will receive a first strike from this tank here. But this tank is in range 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or of course through the there. But we'll get a strike from the city, and we'll take out the recon entirely with the infantry unit there. No comm tower per player just yet. Comm tower is being secured now by both players. Does hit the infantry unit here as well. We have another tank, artillery, and infantry. Does capture con tower, very good. And does capture the airport. Just as aircraft completely okay, has minus 10% firepower, which is not too bad. It's not Drake battlecopters, minus 30%. Tank, and infantry. Tank, double infantry, keeping 5,000 funds in the bank. Does the infantry unit there, and does strike the pipe seam up here. Infantry, recon, battlecopter, and infantry. Captures up some cities in the center. Tank, and tank. Black boat does make its way to seaport, 17 fuel remaining. Does hit this mech a couple times. Hits this infantry unit there as well, twice, and does take out or hit this infantry unit there. The recon does go down. Tank, recon, anti-air. Hits this infantry unit. and does pop his power, which of course will give him extra firepower. This tank is not in range. Of course, this one's definitely not in range. Oh, does get trapped there. Tank hits tank. Tank hits tank. Mech gets a strike there. Tank does take a shot from the city. Of course, 2 tanks in reserve. Tank advances towards some forests. Does strike this tank a couple times. Recon does hit the artillery. Tank and infantry with another battlecopter. Jess right now only has 2 battlecopters. Does strike this tank. Artillery in a position to help shell anything that advances towards these tanks as well. This artillery is spotted thanks to this nearby tank, so it's not hidden. Does shell this tank here. There's another side here, and this seaport has been claimed by Jess, which means Ada does not have a way to resupply this black boat, and she could do a lot of stupid things here. I think I've seen a short or replay where somebody goes for a submarine, sinks it, and you got a permanent stealthed spotter, so that is quite expensive. We do now have a full turbocharge or overdrive available. Does only pop the power. Sometimes a 1-2 punch would be great. Does able to blitz her way forward twice. Battlecopter, tank, infantry, and tank. Does hit the recon. Tank does strike the tank. He does have access to power. Does take out another tank there. 1 health tank does take out the 1 health recon. Battlecopter does strike the tank there. And the anti-air should be able to take out this battlecopter no problem. Another battlecopter, tank, infantry, and infantry. Good number catch there. Artillery does shell that tank. And takes the battlecopter there. Big losses for Adder this turn. He has almost enough power charge for a full side winder. Does take out some tanks there. Shells this, or hits this tank twice. It feels like Jess is in excellent position right now. Pops a full sidewinder, so +2 movement range. I don't know how effective this will be. This will allow both these anti-airs to strike a battlecopter. Does pull back to 7 health tank. Takes out another battlecopter there to help him stabilize this region, but this flank is still starting to get overrun. He might just go for a pipe run on this flank. He does have 21,000, so it'll be pipe runner, base skip, and infantry. Battlecopter, mech, tank, and infantry. And do now have a power activated for Jess. By catching that city down in the bottom left, that city still is suspically neutral. I think that's the last city on the map is so neutral. Adder right now does have 22,000 income versus Jess's 27,000. Does take out the battlecopter there. Join captures. This has 4 capture progress remaining, so it'll be difficult to interrupt. It'll take more than just one tank. Got a bit of a human mecha starting to form over here. A-tier tank. Does spot the mech. Tank does hit the tank. A-tier hits mech. With a power, this will not be neither range it. Both power, this mech can range the A-tier. Power is available. With a power, this mech can sprint his way and hit this tank here, while this mech can sprint over here and hit this A-tier. Blacko does go ahead and get sunk to the bottom of the sea there due to a lack of fuel. Pops a full sides or a side slip, not a full side slip. Mech strikes the A-tier. Tank hits A-tier. Mech blitz sprints his way to the tank there. Deletes his cruiser. Does take out the tank there. Battlecopter hits the artillery. Battlecopter hits infantry. Pulls back some units. Mech, tank, infantry, and battlecopter. Insert 100,000 versus 104,000. Jess does have 34,000 funds stored on up. Nice infantry unit there. Does stop that unit from being capturing up the city. Battlecopter strikes the tank, and then 6 health tank will finish it off. We do now have another overdrive available. Good number of tanks here, and a neo tank to blitz. Recon nearby to reconnoiter the area as well. So she sees a lot of assets down here, of course. Looks like no power nor superpower this turn. Knows about the battle copter, so pulling back some A-tier is not a bad idea. Infantry tank A-tier. Does spot the neo tank there. We'll need a superpower to range it. Artillery, infantry, battlecopter, and infantry. Does get trapped there by the 9 health tank. Does hit the 9 health tank. Does find infantry and shoots it down. Battlecopter, tank, recon, and tank. Infantry, artillery, infantry, and battlecopter. Gonna flip the city over here. 7 health mech may just merge into the 8 health mech, though that city will be captured up next turn. Battlecopter, tank, and recon. Interrupts that capture. Does hit the recon, does hit the tank there. Side slip activated, mid-turn. Does not see this neo tank, does sink the cruiser to the bottom of the HQ. Does hit the A-tier. Tank, and tank. I have confused, we'll see either turbocharge or the full overdrive. Full overdrive. Recon spots mechs. Shells the tank there. Hits the tank there. Sees multiple battle copters, which should be pretty easy to kill them off the A-tiers. 1 A-tier, 2 A-tiers. Battlecopter hits battlecopter. Battlecopter hits battlecopter. Hits the anti-air. Hits the tank. I have a good feeling this might be the game-deciding turn for Jess. There's a lot of stuff that can go down for Adder still. Does sort of trap us 2 off tank there. Another battlecopter. Anti-air. Infantry and anti-air. And it's of 208 versus 106. Of course, Addison is day-to-day, but he's severely behind. Shells the tank there. Of course, when the front lines are smashing together, it's easy to get a strong counterattack. Battlecopter infantry, tank and infantry. Does hit the artillery. Does hit another tank there. Remember, there's a blue sea here, so this artillery is safe enough to shoot one of these Neo tanks. Does hit that infantry unit there twice. Another good turn for Jess. Artillery does shell the Neo tank. Adder's close to a power. Anti-air, tank, and artillery. Both sides have flipped a city. 22 versus 28,000. Next turn, 12 capture progress and 12 capture progress, so those two have an additional turn. It's the tank there twice. Artillery can get another shelling, assuming something stays within its range. But nothing does. Looks like all these forces are on the front shift over here. Adder has his power available. Does hit the mech. It's another mech there. Tank does strike the tank. Tank does strike the tank. Battlecopter hits a tank. Tank is hit thrice. Power activated by Jess. It's the infantry unit there. Battlecopter gets shot down. I'm assuming some of these stuff is just out of range if it wasn't for the power. Neo tank takes out regular tank there. It's the anti-air. Of course, got 2 artillery can shell that individual unit. Times which Adder thought I wish he was Jake to get +1 range to double tap that Neo. Of course, there's a lack of anti-air in this region as well. I don't think Adder's going to stay in next turn. Shells tank, pops power. This might be a just final hurrah turn. I have a good feeling he's going to resign. Does get trapped there while at it by a black boat. Who would have not seen a boat out in the shore. Goes for a pipe runner and did not resign from the game as expected. This is a map where you can use pipe runners for defense, so it's not a meme unit on this map. But everything's getting disintegrated on the left flank. He has 10 military units left. I'm just going to fast forward a little bit. Double pipe runner. Now he resigns. Zangrade saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. I have time for one last replay for tonight. Huh, Rachel versus Kindle. This should be interesting. So let's get started. Greetings everyone, and Grade here with another Advanced Wars by Web replay. So on bottom left side as the Green Earth Rachel, we got Ban Joey. On top right side as the Yellow Comet Kindle, we got MapQuest. Which, quite frankly, as a website, don't think anyone uses anymore. Google Maps has completely eclipsed it. Because quite frankly, Google Maps was better and also more convenient. Yeah, I always prefer Google Maps as opposed to MapQuest because it just worked. It was not. I had MapQuest was finicky. If you didn't type in the address exactly right, if I remember correctly, it just did not want to work. While Google Maps you just type the location and it just works. Tank double infantry. This map does offer a pair of safe comm towers, just make sure players get more firepower. There's also a pair of somewhat contestable comm towers. It feels like it's pretty secured for one player, but there's still things you can fight over and you must defend over. This map is 3 bases, but 26 capture victory. So what is that? 18,000 income when split in half per player. Maybe 19,000. Tank, and infantry. Kindle's turn, she has 12,000 funds in the bank, so 1 tank, maybe a battlecopter, triple infantry. Tank double infantry, takes a shot against the infantry unit. Kindle does also have a very good day-to-day of +1 repair. It's actually pretty nice, but something you don't really try to maximize too often. Kindle's power is quite good, plus 40% firepower, 40% firepower from attacking from urbanized terrain. And of course, Urban Blight is putting out wound units there. With a lower amount of capture properties, high society is probably less likely to be deployed in the field. It's better for more properties, of course. But I will say for Urban Blight, I always feel like players don't use it properly. You want to go for a lot of, or at least a handful of boost strikes to go along with the Blight that you inflict on your opponent's units. That boost damage is still very important. You gotta mix both of the aspects. You just can't try using mass or limited attrition. Infantry, and battlecopter. Granted, that's also based on skill level when what opponents you fight against. In this case, the 3 health infantry didn't even start capturing up the comm tower. It's just meant to be a roadblock. Does interrupt the capture there. This tank is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of range of getting on top of this comm tower to get a boost strike. But if it was in range, this infantry should be pulled off to clear it out and then boost strike onto the tank. So I'm getting hiccups. Tank, and infantry. Tank does strike tank. Tank strikes infantry. Infantry gets struck by a recon. Right now, Rachel does have 2 comm towers. Rachel or Kindle only has 1. Battlecopter, double infantry, and tank. Hits the recon, hits the tank. Hits the tank twice. Battlecopter, triple infantry. Kindle does have Urban Blight available. And seeing the number of units on top of the urbanized terrain, this is actually a decent amount of global damage. Usually I say try to conjunction with all boost strikes, but with the hitting one tank interrupts a good number of captures. So that's probably a good idea. This is interrupted. It's on top of urbanized terrain. Booster strike there onto the tank, but it's just the anti-air. Tank, infantry, and battlecopter. Oops. Goes from 82 to 76. So she did take quite a bit of blight and, of course, of her day-to-day funds. or reduce rate of data funds. It was a good power. Does hit that tank twice. Recon hits the infantry unit there. And that was a shot from the self-infantry unit there. Recon, infantry, and tank. Interrupts the capture. Does take out that tank there. This comm tower will be captured next turn. That'll give Rachel 3 comm towers, quite powerful. But comm towers also does multiplicatively apply to luck damage, or luck lasts. Oops, is quite good. Wait. I didn't realize you could change that stuff there by right-clicking on it. Must poke around that after the stream. Battlecopter, recon, infantry, and recon. Answer for 100,000 versus 80. Good chances of Rachel superpower this turn. Double taps a tank. Covering fire is available. I think, yeah, infantry is definitely here. Value is probably right here. I'm not sure you can target open terrain. I think it can target open terrain. And HP and infantry is up here. That's my guess. Sacks the recon there, so make sure rockets land over here. Okay, looks like 2 struck around here. So 1 here and 1 here. I'm pretty sure value struck right there. We will not be able to see it until the start of the next turn. Get some good strikes up here. Nope, value struck cruiser because I forgot to calculate the cruiser. So it's a tank and the cruiser, and I think this infantry unit there, so it probably struck right there. My bad, I always forget how valuable cruisers are. You know it's not very valuable on this map, but it's a good idea for Kindle to keep it alive on this map to draw the Rachel rockets. Tank, anti-air, and infantry. Anti-air, and infantry. Kindle still has a slight advantage. Both players have 17,000 income. The number of properties in the map are still despicably neutral. It looks like 4 cities. Booster strike onto the tank there. Very good. Rachel still has 2 comm towers though. Tank, and infantry. Insert 103 versus 190. Urban Blight's now available. Next turn won't be super great for a Urban Blight. I suppose there is some extra units and some properties, but I don't think it'd be too fantastic for Urban Blight. But not sure how it will go. Does get some damage there. Probably good to get as much power charge before popping power. T-copter, infantry, tank, and infantry. No power. T-copter is an interesting option. Must be trying to boost forward some infantry there. Maybe mechs. Good number of units here. Tank, and infantry. Maybe you should try to keep hold of it. Just psych out your opponent, so your opponent always be careful about it. Slowing down their advance. Limiting what they want to accomplish. Battlecopter does strike battlecopter. No mech there. I thought there would be a mech. Tank, and infantry. Does hit the recon. We almost have enough for full high society. Base of the battlecopter there. High society right now would provide 18. So 18 times 3 is 24, 54% increased firepower, which is not too fantastic. Just Urban Blight there. Does hit that recon. Try and capture that comm tower. Battlecopter hits the infantry unit there on top of the city. Boost strike, easy one shot there. Tank hits a recon. Tank hits tank. Battlecopter, tank, and double infantry. Anti-air does take out the battlecopter. Hits the comm tower infantry unit there. Tank hits tank. It looks like Kindle's just disintegrating up north. At this rate, she may need to pull out a medium tank to contest there. We do have now the covering fire there. Let's see, HP and value, I think both struck right here. And infantry, right here. Infantry could have struck right there, which would have been devastating. Or, no, infantry struck right here. Oh, no, no, no. I think this battlecopter just got triple tapped. I think this cover firing was devastating. Right now, just keep an eye on the Kindles in the turn. Right now, she's 102. Because there's 3 infantry. That's where the infantry missile struck. I'm pretty sure HP and value both struck right here. Maybe value struck right here. But I think this battlecopter's down to 1 health. 102. 81. It did strike this. Yep, all 3 of them struck right here. Hit this tank twice. Hit this infantry unit twice. Hit this battlecopter thrice. Oof. That was pretty congested. I thought one could have landed right here if my offhand math is not incorrect. The cruiser is very valuable, so it probably drew a lot more damage there for value. But HP could have landed right here, I think. Cruiser only got struck once, though. At the end of this turn, she's at 97 versus 101, so they're still both pretty even. Ridge has a slight advantage. Captures a property. Recon, tank, and artillery. Infantry, recon, and T-copter. A second T-copter. Kindle does have her power available. Battlecopter, double infantry, and tank. Infantry, recon, and battlecopter. Does hit this infantry unit twice. This one has 10 captured progress remaining. Tank does strike tank. Rachel still maintains 3 comm towers. 3 capture progress remaining on that one. Strikes the pipe seam with the artillery piece. Battlecopter, infantry, and tank. Pops an Urban Blight, which will not interrupt that capture up there. Blue strike there, takes out the infantry unit there. Here's a good number of infantry units. Blue strike there, nukes the anti-air. Tank, the battlecopter strikes one of the tanks. I wasn't sure which tank at first. Hits the recon there. Great blitz there by Kindle. This is exactly what she needs to turn this game around. getting a lot of good hits. A battlecopter, triple infantry. Instead of 125 is 111, so about a turn advantage. Of course, with two front lines smashing each other, means Rachel's counterattack does not go too far. She's also getting close to her covering fire once again. And Kiddo's crew's going to draw one more shot approximately. Deletes her own cruiser. Wasn't really accomplishing all too much after all the urban blights. Tank, infantry, and infantry. Boost strike there, gets a good shot there in the infantry. Takes out battlecopter, hits that tank there. No boost strike from the city there, too far away. Does take out that tank there. Anti-air strikes a regular tank there. And Boo get a boost strike on that tank. Kindle may have just pulled out a victory. It feels like she's getting a lot of good engagements recently. Of course, another covering fire available that will help equalize out the effects, because right now these units are congested. It's going to be a shelling here. Because the infantry missile will strike this group of 4 infantry here. These, yeah. So infantry missile will strike here. Value will likely strike this formation here. Hit the Neo tank directly, maybe right here. Yep, right there. And then accumulation HP. A lot of good targets here. It's probably hitting this infantry group again. Pulls back some units there. You can manipulate where it lands to an extent by killing stuff before the superpower. 4 health. Yep, so 2 missiles struck here. This is definitely accumulation of value right here. Or some more hitting the both battlecopters and Neo tank. It struck, nope, it struck directly right here. The more I think about it. Hit the blue sea tile. Kindle now has her power available. Tank, tank, and tank. Kindle right now is at 96. Drops on 77. Did strike here. Yep, did strike this blue sea towel. Actually, no. It struck right here. Hit the shore towel here, because this infantry didn't get hit and this one did. And it's equal at that point. A lot of wounded units here. Regrouping. Tank, infantry, and infantry. 1 elf battlecopter could merge into this 7 elf battlecopter, donate as fuel and ammo. Does interrupt the capture of the comm tower. Comm tower is still at 10. Capture progress remaining. Rachel's at 20,000 income. Rachel and Kindle's at 17. No joint captures onto that comm tower. Tank does strike the tank. Battlecopter strikes tank. Battlecopter strikes battlecopter. Hits the infantry units on the flank. 18 capture progress remaining, so that city's not going to be captured up anytime soon. Does hit a battlecopter, and there's another anti-air in range of battlecopter. But it hits the infantry unit there. Battlecopter strikes battlecopter. Big hits there. And fully stops the capture of that comm tower. Do now have full high society available, which is good for a large number of units that can get engagements, but not many units are on the front line here. We got Neo tank, and that's about it. So high society is not a good idea. Right now, unit count is slightly in favor of Rachel, but right now unit value is very much so. Anti-air gets boost strike there. Neo tank takes on regular tank there. Pops an urban blight. Booster strike there. Tank, tank, and infantry. shells the Neo tank, which also can be softened up even further by this battlecopter. ATR goes down. Neo tank gets hit twice now. Drops a capture. Neo tank gets hit for thrice time. Battlecopter, tank, recon, and infantry. 49,000 versus 124. Boost strike there hits the tank. And Kindle does outright resign. This is Angrade saying thank you for watching, and on to the next replay. And that shall be my last replay for tonight. So everyone, thank you for watching.